Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's very special Transfinder webinar, Stopfinder, how to engage your school community to sign up, log in, and use. Yes, it's sort of a play on that 1960s slogan to turn on, tune in, and drop out. That was a terrible slogan, but today we want to talk about how to get your communities to sign up and download the Stopfinder app, log in, and then use it. We've got a packed webinar featuring Transfinder experts who are with me right here. You can see them, and they will show you all the tools that you have at your disposal to get your parents to use the Stopfinder app. Then you're going to meet some of your colleagues, transportation leaders who will share with you what has worked for them in their communities to increase involvement in the use of the Stopfinder app. You're going to hear from our CEO, Antonio Civitella. He's going to give a glimpse into Stopfinder's future and just where this award-winning app is headed. Finally, we want you to be a part of this webinar as an attendee. So there is a question section there where you can be asking questions or giving tips what's worked for you. We'll work our best to try to monitor that and bring those in as we can. If not, we definitely will be following up with all of you as well. But the more tips we get, the better. Finally, we want you to know that this will be part of, it'll be on our Transfinder YouTube channel and also in the Transfinder community as well at your disposal. So why are we holding this webinar? Because we are in your corner. We want to help you reduce those calls to the district that take you away from critical tasks. We want to help you reduce headaches. We want to help eliminate bad publicity because information might be spreading or because parents are feeling uninformed. And we believe that Transfinder will do all of this if your community will only use this app. So let's get ready. But first, before we start, I want to read one quick thing. Chat GPT has been in the news, artificial intelligence has been in the news. So I decided to punch in describe Stopfinder in Dr. Seuss type language. And so I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs. I got to give that little robot thing credit for this, but oh, the places you'll go with Stopfinder, my dear. It's a tool that helps you find your bus stop is near. With just a tap on your phone, you'll be able to see all the stops on your route, as easy as can be. It's reliable, efficient, and oh so neat. Stopfinder makes your commute a real treat. So don't be shy, give it a try. With Stopfinder, your ride will fly by. Thank you, Chat GPT. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Shay Marsthaler, a senior applications specialist here at Transfinder. Shay, take it away.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Rick. Again, my name is Shay Marsthaler. I am one of the senior application specialists here at Transfinder. So happy to be here this morning, coming to you live from beautiful, sunny Austin, Texas. So not in upstate New York, got a little bit of a different weather situation down here, but still excited to be here regardless. Y'all, I have been brought in to go over some of my favorite features in Stopfinder that I like to share with the clients that I work with. I have 5 features that I'm going to share with you guys, and all of these are areas that I love to take my clients into whenever we're setting up Stopfinder. And what's ultimately going to make you guys successful is utilizing these tools inside of the application and engaging your communities. So whenever we're looking at setting up Stopfinder, the very first thing that we talk about is sharing subscriptions. What do we talk about when we're talking about sharing subscriptions is getting our parents or guardians engaged. And in its simplest form, that's inviting them to join, right? Making sure that we have the system set up and that we're sending those invites out, letting parents know, hey, this is available to you guys. You can see your students' schedules with bus information, approximate pickup and drop-off times. Not only that, but those parents and guardians can then send out sub-subscriptions to family members. What if I send out an invite to my mom so that she can see my boys' schedule? What if I send it out to my aunt and uncle? Maybe they help me pick up my boys, right? Parents can have their own little community around their students and share that out with everybody that's a part of that. It's a fantastic tool, and you want to make sure that you're utilizing it and setting it up and letting parents know, hey, this is available to you. Not only can you just see little Johnny's schedule, but mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, friends, whomever needs to be a part of that have those capabilities. Not only can they see that schedule, but if we're utilizing the system the appropriate way, you're also going to be able to see day-to-day changes. And what do I mean by utilizing the system the appropriate way? Well, you have the ability to do substitutions inside of Stopfinder. So if the bus is running 30 minutes late, we can put that in. A parent can open up that application and see, oh, the bus is running 30 minutes late. And if we pair that with the next feature that I'm going to go over, announcements, well, we can send out an announcement to our parents or guardians, our subscribers, our sub-subscribers, and let them know, hey, there has been a change in our schedule for today. A super, super powerful tool. We can inform our parents or guardians of immediate changes. Again, my example, bus running 30 minutes late. Well, in my part of town, we have a ton of construction. We have new neighborhoods popping up left and right. So there's constant road closures. You know, using that to say, hey, we're going to have to make a change to our trip. Fantastic use of this tool. Or maybe we need to make a temporary change to a stop location. We can use announcements to let our parents or guardians know, hey, this is coming. Again, it's just a communication tool. We're able to send out what we need our parents or guardians to know on the spot. Now, I'm a big fan of this. You guys can see in my example of an announcement over there on the left-hand side of our screen, I like to use regional dialect. I'm from Texas. We say y'all probably every other word, or maybe it's just me. I don't know. I'm born and raised here, right? I like to encourage using regional dialect. So my Texas clients, I say, hey, use y'all. We get it, right? I've had Midwest clients tell me they like to use you guys. You know, you guys have different dialects that you use that's going to connect with parents or guardians and make them more likely to use the application. Not only is it about sending out announcements and important need to know information, but you can have fun with it too, right? Let them know, hey, we're a part of this community. Not only can we send out announcements with regional dialect, but also going back to my previous slide here, you're going to see we have the ability to use a rich text editor. So we can put in custom coloring, we can do underline, we can highlight the important information. And you can see in my sample announcement here, I have bus 119 underlined in bold, and then I have 30 minutes late underlined in red. So if a parent or guardian is just reading through that information quickly, what I'm hoping they catch is bus 119, 30 minutes late, right? This is a rich text editor that is built into Stopfinder. So you guys can customize the messages. So I always encourage my clients, spend some time playing around with it. Work with what you guys know works with communicating with your parents. You guys are going to know best how your parents in your district respond. Not only do we have the ability to just send out blanket announcements, but we can request information from parents or guardians as well. And that leads us to our forms. You can see a very quick example of a form that I love to set up with my clients. This is just a simple transportation request form. So you can see I have this a simple yes or no answer. Will your student require transportation for the upcoming 23-24 school year? Please confirm your physical address. Hey, just type in your physical address. It's always good to be able to relate to records, right, that we're getting from our parents or guardians from our student information system. And then finally, I just have a simple, hey, statement. The information that I provided is correct. This can't impact my student's transportation, and just a nice little sign. Think of anything that you guys may need to get from your parents or guardians as information. You guys can send that out as a form directly through Stopfinder and see those responses directly in Stopfinder. You can import that data. You can export it in an Excel format. Once you have the data collected in Stopfinder, there is a whole host of things that you can do with that data. And what's really cool about this is forms, you can limit who those are sent to. So earlier I gave you the example of maybe I want to add my mom to be able to see my boys' schedules. Well, what if I didn't want my mom putting in a transportation request form? What if that only wanted to come to me? As a transportation director, I can send out a form, or realistically a Stopfinder user, I can send out a form and make it only be to my primary subscribers, not my sub-subscribers, so not the people that parents or guardians have invited to join. So you can target who those forms are being sent to for that content. So not only can we send out announcements, not only can we send out forms and get responses from our parents, but we also have a two-way communication portion within Stopfinder that we call feedback. Feedback is an incredibly powerful tool, and I always encourage my clients to utilize it. The goal behind feedback is to bring parent communication directly to the transportation department through the application. So parents can send you a message through Stopfinder, and you can directly respond. It's just a two-way communication system, almost like texting, right? No need for parents or guardians to call in with simple questions. They could easily just message through the application. We don't want to tie up those phone lines for more important questions, right? What's really cool is on the transportation side, and what I love showing, you have the ability to attach files. So as an example, if you ever get calls from parents saying, hey, the bus didn't pick up my student, or it never came by. Well, if you have GPS, you can pull up that GPS data, take a screenshot, attach it, send it directly through the feedback message to your parents or guardians and show them, hey, this is what I'm seeing, right? This communication tool is something I've seen a lot of districts that are successful with Stopfinder utilize really heavily. What's really cool about it is it also gives you notifications within the Stopfinder app or within the Stopfinder admin panel that you have a new communication message. And you can even set it up to where it emails you and says you have a new Stopfinder feedback message. So a really, really powerful tool. I always encourage my clients to utilize it. I'd recommend you guys to take a look at it as well. And now we have a new feature that has come into play that I think is going to be a game changer, frankly. ETA, estimated time of arrival. So earlier we talked about seeing approximate stop times, right? Well, now with ETA, you can see the approximate time that the bus will arrive at a student stop. That is huge. I want to just take a second and let that sink in. You can see I have a screenshot example of this over here on the left. I can see my first stop is set to 9:15. My ETA is saying 9:24 a.m., 6 minutes away. In the top left of the phone, you can see the time is set to 9:18. It is powerful enough to register within the minute of when that bus is expected to arrive to that stop location. Not only can parents see when the ETA is going to come up, but they can also set up alerts similar to GeoAlerts that's going to notify them when the bus is a certain amount of time away. You can see those alerts can be set for 5, 10, 15, or even 20 minutes out. So if I wanted to be notified on my phone that my son's bus is 5 minutes away, I could set up a notification. My phone is going to message me and say the bus is 5 minutes away. I can open up the application and I can see my estimated time of arrival looking at my son's stop. No one else is doing this. This is an incredibly powerful tool in conjunction with all of the other tools that I've talked about. Sharing subscriptions, so sending out our invites to our primary subscribers, and then encouraging them to let their parents and guardians know, hey, we can invite our family to be a part of this. Does grandma, grandpa ever pick up your son? Hey, invite them to join. Using announcements to send out information on a need-to-know basis to our parents or guardians, letting them know of immediate changes or upcoming changes or reminders. I had a lot of districts over spring break send out daily reminders. Hey, reminder, it's spring break, enjoy the holiday. Just so they didn't have parents calling in and asking where the bus is. Maybe they forgot it's spring break. Utilizing forms to send out questionnaires to parents, gathering information on our end. Utilizing those feedback messages to communicate with our parents or guardians. And then finally, incorporating this new ETA functionality is huge. You're going to see a lot of success in implementing this within your community. So I'm going to encourage you guys that are using Stopfinder, take a look at these features, utilize them. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Liz Chohan, our Director of Content Design. Go ahead, Liz.
Hi, everyone. And I think before we get started with going over communication resources, Rick, we want to get a question out there to the group.
Yes, we got a poll question for you. Liz, you want to take it away? You want me to read it to them?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to launch this poll, and then Rick, maybe you can go ahead and read that too.
Sounds good. So, we're talking about engaging the community. And so how often are you sending? You probably have, as a client of Transfinders, you may get a couple emails from us, somewhat regularly. So how often do you send emails or text messages to try to engage with your community to literally download the Stopfinder app? Do you send it out like a weekly email? Do you do one every other week, monthly? Do you send one every other month? Or do you send one just once a semester? If you could lock in your vote, it will take a few seconds. Liz will continue on with her presentation, and then we'll come back toward the end of the webinar to give you the results.
Okay, I'll give you guys a couple more minutes, and then I'll close this poll up, and we'll talk about some of the communication resources that we have available so that you can get things out to your community and get your parents and guardians using the Stopfinder app so that you can take advantage of all the features that Shay just went over.
They're going to be amazed, Liz, by the amount of resources that are available that they can cater and customize for their own liking. But you have put together an amazing, resource list there and community.
We've got a ton of stuff, Rick, and we're always excited to share that. And we're excited to hear how you're using things. So as you are getting information out to the community, if you're using some of these resources, we'd love to hear more about how you're distributing them to parents and guardians. And I can actually see in the questions, and we're going to get to this, we do have a flyer that could be used to send out to parents. So I'm going to go ahead and close this poll, Rick, and continue on to go through our communication resources. And let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and
yeah, you do have a great list of questions here. And ETA actually, Tony Civitella is probably going to touch a little bit on that as well in his future of Stopfinder. So.
Okay. So back over to our presentation here. So communication resources, and these are all available through the Transfinder community. So if you are in today's presentation, you may have found out about it through the calendar and community. In Stopfinder, we have many guides, but what I'm going to focus on today is talking about the guides that are designed to assist with getting information to parents and guardians. We have guides that have parent-facing videos, links to website content. We have a quick start guide. We know you already have a lot going on. So you want to be able to get the app up and running, but we need to be able to tell people about it, right? So we have a guide on learning how to invite those primary subscribers. So you've got your parent or guardian at home that would be your primary subscriber, and then they would be the individual that be able to share out that subscription. We have a guide that lists common questions you may get from your community. And so you can go through that. And if you're seeing those questions, you'll have those answers ready to go when parents and guardians receive the information that you're now going to be using the Stopfinder app. So if you haven't yet, when you log into community and you go to the Stopfinder guide page, take a look at the guides we have there. Take a look at the Getting Started with Stopfinder guide. There's a lot of great links in there. A couple of them include things like emailing notifications to subscribers, accessing that subscriber feedback, how to share Stopfinder with guardians and parents. So go through these guides. We've got a lot of content available, including templates for those invitations. And that's just in our Getting Started guide. I mentioned that we have a video available so that you can share with parents and guardians how Stopfinder works. We've already done this for you. You can share the link on your website. You can send the link to parents and guardians. I'm just going to play a quick clip of that video so that you can get an idea of what a parent, guardian, or any other Stopfinder user would see if you were to share our community-facing video. So it does a quick introduction of what the app is. It explains that there's a login. It even tells them you're going to be receiving an invitation. So that's that invitation you'll be sending out. It shows how simple that login is. And then it continues to go through the different features the app contains, starting with what they see when they log in. So we have these videos available for you. You don't have to create a video. We're happy to have you share the one we have to get that info out to your community. Now, before you even get things out there, there's a lot of things to do. In addition to the guides, the checklist, our video, we have a full media kit. So again, we know there is a lot going on as you're preparing to use Stopfinder and get things out to your students, parents, and guardians. So we want to help you as much as we possibly can. Our media kit can be downloaded from the Stopfinder Media Kit guide. It's right in Transfinder Community. It includes things like printable flyers, images and logos that can be used on your website. Those logos can be used in electronic communications. We have email templates, our quick start guide, and even a press release template. So we've tried to put together all of the communication information you'll need to get information out before you launch things with your community, parents, and guardians. Now, if this sounds like a lot, it definitely is, but we're here for you. We want to answer your questions. And specifically when it comes to working with the community, talking with the media, if that's something that you'd like a little assistance with, that's where Rick can come in and he would love to help you out. And so I'm going to actually turn things over now to Rick, our Director of Public Relations, and he can talk about what it's like to engage the media and work with your community on getting information out about Stopfinder.
Thanks so much, Liz. There's a lot there. I know we're going through it kind of quickly here, but there's just so much information. And I've actually talked to I do a lot of interviews for our best practices webinar, and I do push the community portal. It's community.transfinder.com. And I can tell you that people have said to me, I wish I had logged into this earlier. So it's never too late. But you're going to be blown away. We were talking about this yesterday. The search engine in it is wonderful too. So if you're not sure exactly what you're looking for, you want a guide and plus or Stopfinder. Let's keep on Stopfinder right now. The search engine will help you find exactly what you're looking for and actually give you suggestions too. Like, do you really mean this? So there's just a lot of stuff there. I'm just super impressed by it. My role at Transfinder is to help cultivate our reputation, Transfinder's reputation in the community, in the public, the industry, and yes, the media. And, I was talking to one of our panelists is going to talk a little bit later in a moment. And by the way, panelists, I'm going to give you a warning. We have a lot more time than we thought initially. We were very aggressive in our day, but you do have a little more time, so don't feel you need to talk really fast. All right, that's your warning. This one panelist said, part of my role is public. I would say 85% of my role is public relations. So she'll share a little bit about that. And so this is building relationships. And so when you do these kind of things and you meet with the media and you're giving them story ideas like this, it really does help curry favor with them in the sense that, hey, when there maybe is a less than positive story that comes down the pike, they already have a relationship with you. And so it's not the first time they've been to your building or the first time they've been to, your district office. So I just want to encourage you. So this media kit that Liz just outlined, there's a release in there that will help you. You can definitely tailor it if you want to have a superintendent quote in there, if you want to have a transportation supervisor quote. I also encourage, if you have, as you're running a pilot on this, if you have some parents that you know are like your champions. It's always great to be able to provide the media also with some parents that can talk about their experience with the app, especially if you know that they love the app and they love what you're doing. Try to get parent voice in there as well. We do have a news clip. I want to show you kind of an example of what hopefully you could do as well in your area to help get the word out, because it's not just about emails and text, it's also about utilizing your local media to spread the news. Liz.
To the classroom to begin the new school year, and with the new year sometimes comes new changes.
News Show 9's Ashley Kavar joins us live in studio this morning and has more on a new safety feature in Cortland for students riding the school bus. Hey there, Ash.
Nicole and Ryan, getting back into that school routine can be tough. But with the new Stopfinder app, parents in the Portland City School District can now leave some of those worries behind. The Stopfinder app allows parents to set up a fence around their child's bus stop, notifying them if the bus came to their child's location. Right now, more than 300 parents in the district have the app, including Rebecca Merritt. The mother of 3 has 2 kids in junior high and 1 in college. With this app, Rebecca can now keep a close eye on her kids that are still using the bus.
It's great for me. We live up on top of a hill higher than this one, and the weather sometimes isn't the best up there. And so what helps me with the app is that when I can view where the bus is coming, and then when it's on the road, I can say, okay, kids, go down our long driveway and get ready for the bus. That has helped quite a bit.
The Stopfinder app is still in its first phase, but come late December, parents will be able to pinpoint exactly where their child is, making it convenient for both families and students. Nicole. Yeah, it sounds like a really great program.
So you can see, yes, I know my boss, when he sees Stopfinder split into 2 words, you can kind of cringe, but you got to get over some of that stuff. As reporters can sometimes, I used to be a reporter for 27 years. I can't say I was perfect and everything. So, but what a great story. You hear some words there that are super helpful, like let's see here. There was I had it written here, a great story here. Words like the app allows parents in the district to leave their worries behind. I mean, you can't get a better description than that. And so again, if you can get a parent, I'm very happy to be a part of that. Well, I'm available to any one of our clients to help work on crafting a message. If you have a PR department, some of the larger districts have a PR department. I'm happy to work with them as well. In that media kit that Liz mentioned, there's also footage there that some news outlets, maybe they don't have the ability to go and send a camera out to take a picture of the bus with the students getting on it. We have lots of different video clips that are available as well for them. So anyway, the one takeaway for me at least is please feel free to use me, because I do love engaging with the media, and I also like helping you tell your stories. Before I introduce our panelists, Liz we had a poll earlier. We want to see the results, and then I'm going to ask our panelists to all come on, and maybe they can give us some of their feedback as well on the results of this poll. But Liz, what do we have here from our poll?
Okay, so let's see. I've got those results up, so everybody should be able to see now. How often do you send emails or text messages to your community to download the Stopfinder app?
Once a semester, number 1. Number 2 is every month. Then number 3 is every other week, followed by weekly, and then lastly monthly. So top choice by most is once a semester. I'm going to tell you that I think our panelists are going to say that's not enough. All right, so I'm going to, without further ado, I'm going to introduce all 3 of our panelists. They can all come on screen, all unmute yourselves, please, and we'll get rocking and rolling here. Anna Banner, she is the Transportation Director at Garland ISD in Texas. Welcome, Anna. We have Anthony Mendoza, Transportation Director at Lincolnshire Prairie in Illinois. And Maggie Scherer, last but not least, Transportation Coordinator at Conrad Weiser High School. Sounds a little bit like, panelist number 1, number 2. It sounds like the dating game a little bit, if you guys remember that from but it's not a game show here. What are you guys, first of all three of you, and actually, Anna, who's your colleague there?
This is Jeremy Greco. He's one of our supervisors, and he's the Stopfinder guru for Garland ISD.
Always great to have a guru on the panel. So thanks so much. Just quickly on the poll results, and then I'm going to jump starting with you, Anna. Tell me, what do you guys think about the results of that poll? 41% said once a semester. Is that enough? Anthony, no.
No, definitely not enough.
Okay, I'm seeing all four heads are shaking no. If you guys were to answer that question, I'll just go right in line here on my screen. Maggie, Anthony, and Anna, and your colleague there, and I can't remember your name again. You just told me it. What is it?
Jeremy.
I got it just in the last second. What's the proper number of emails or like reach outs to the community? Maggie?
Okay, so that varies for me, but when school year is about to begin, probably in August, I do it every week in August to the parents that haven't subscribed. And then once school has begun, we are every other week at least that we send out to parents that have not subscribed to in the app. So at least every other week.
It's not going to parents that have already done, like, I got it already, you got it. But it's just going to the ones that, very good. How about you, Anthony? What's your thoughts on that?
We do the same. Beginning of the school year, of course. In July, we'll send it out so parents can get it in advance, like get ready to get your bus information. And then when seasons change, before winter hits, that winter storm's coming, we'll send something out to parents with our parent communication app that's not Stopfinder, so we get everybody. And we tell them, hey, winter storms are coming. You should really download Stopfinder so you know when your bus is coming. And we do it throughout the year.
Very good. How about Anthony, Jeremy? What do you guys think?
We're new to Stopfinder. We're doing a pilot, so right now we're doing it weekly because we're trying to get our parents involved as much as possible.
Very
What
good.
we did beforehand is we kind of did drippings towards the parents for several weeks before the pilot started for all of those involved in the pilot schools. And then weekly notices to download the app, but also announcements within it for those that have downloaded on how to use it and where to go to the Find the Help Center. And then this morning I double checked and we have over 50% of the parents now that have downloaded and started using it in just 2 weeks.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty impressive. Does that sound like a good number there, Anthony and Maggie?
Yeah.
I've got some shaking heads there. Nice job. All right, I'm going to let you guys take it from here. Tell me a little bit about your Stopfinder story. You just mentioned a little bit about the pilot. I know you could talk a little bit about how you use social media as well and some traditional media, letters and stuff. So go ahead. Tell me a little bit about how you engage your community.
Well, for us, I mean, since we're new across the board to Transfinder and Stopfinder, so we're doing it all from the beginning, from the get-go. So our buy-in, we transport about 14,000 kids. There's about 52,000 in the district. So getting the campuses involved, the drivers involved, it takes driver involvement to make the app work, right? So we have to start there. You know, get everybody involved, buy-in from student nutrition, library services, you know, across the district. That's really important. Making sure the drivers are comfortable with the tablets before you give it to the parents. And that way there's no hiccups in the beginning. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, the biggest thing that we've seen is when you lay the foundation with the drivers, then the Stopfinder will go well. So if the drivers are not following the route as designed, then Stopfinder is going to be confusing to a parent tracking it, wondering why the bus is going a certain direction. But if we have an open communication with our drivers to let us know if there's a reason why a route needs to be go a different pathway, to let us know so that we will update that and make it match what they need. And we work with the drivers to allow the drivers to give us input about how to make that work right. They're the boots on the ground on the streets. They know why they have to go a certain way and not another. And so if we do that, then we find that that foundation being laid, then it just trickles down to the parents through the Stopfinder app. And so far, I've received nothing but positive feedback from the parents. I've only had 2 parents have to contact me by phone because they just couldn't find their invitation on how to download it. And just because it goes into the spam folder or something like that, or they didn't know how to use the link to activate it, just little simple things. But once they're in, the feedback has been incredibly positive.
That's
We're
great.
also doing shirts for our drivers that have the Stopfinder app on it.
How many t-shirts? This is what brought Anna to my attention, everybody. How many t-shirts have you ordered? Stopfinder t-shirts have you ordered?
So we have about 450 employees, and so we're ordering the t-shirts, Stopfinder. We thought about doing a QR code on the back, and that way we can wear them around it, you know, convocation, wear them around town. Hey, here's sign up for the app kind of thing.
That's my boss is a huge fan of QR codes. So I like, you know, Anna, when we talked earlier, you talked about you brought the campuses in early. It wasn't just buying with the parents, it was buying with the campuses. Tell me a little bit about that, and also how you kind of let them, you kind of gave a neat anecdote about letting them find the way that works best for them instead of just telling them everything that you kind of wanted them to do.
Right. So as adults, nobody wants to be told what to do, right? So, but we need buy-in from the school. And so we, you know, library services, the principals, the, you know, student nutrition as well, had them all in the very beginning meeting to say, this is what it can do for you. How does that work? The principal, we picked a couple positive schools. We have 71. We just picked a couple that said, hey, are you willing to try this? They were totally on board. One of the campuses said, well, we want to do it our way. We want to hook the you know, the barcode on the backpack. And we said, okay, give it a try, right? Because we're not going to tell them what they can and cannot do. They realized quickly within a day, hey, that's not going to work, right? Like the kids are having to take their backpacks off, they're having to swing around, you know, do like this to get on the bus. And that didn't work. And so they said, well, we're going to give out the lanyard you gave us. Like, that's great.
I really like that. I really like that story. It's hard sometimes to, when you kind of know it's probably not going to work, but in a way they get even more of a buy-in, and then they also can be part of your ambassadors to say, no, don't do that. We tried it.
Exactly.
You also are going to be promoting it on the billboard outside of a mall. So I told Tony, just so you know, I know you're on, I asked Anna to take a picture when that Stopfinder is on the billboard, because we're going to definitely want to promote that on our social media. But tell me a little, I mean, you're really thinking outside of the box here.
Well, we have a lot of parents, a lot of students here. So the district has a billboard that they rent, and we are going to put it up on the billboard just to say, I mean, it's on the tollway, so it's going to be hard to miss. So we'll take a picture of it for you and we'll send it.
You know, I used to joke about this a lot, but when it comes to information, so you have to hit people, you know, multiple times in multiple ways, social media, texting, email, you know, because I almost feel sometimes like information can be like a dodgeball that people almost dodge like, oh, I never got that email. Like, well, you know, and so the billboard, oh, okay, I just saw it. Okay, I went to the mall. Like, I can't get away from Stopfinder. So anyway, thank you guys very much. You guys can stay on because maybe you might want to jump in as Maggie and Anthony take on. But thank you so much for sharing your story. Next up, I'd like to introduce Anthony Mendoza, Transportation Director at Lincolnshire Prairie. Am I saying that right? Is it Lincolnshire or Lincolnshire?
It's Lincolnshire.
Lincolnshire. So tell me a little bit about you. You have a great list as well of ways that you engage with your community. Tell me a little bit about your Stopfinder approach.
Well, we started because when COVID hit us, we needed a way to communicate with parents. And we used one thing, once COVID was over, we saw the numbers weren't as high as we wanted them to be for parents. And now we require in-person registration for parents to register for school so we can get that fee paid, right? It was easier to get them paid in person. So when parents walk through the line, transportation has a table set up and we give out a coloring book and a flyer with Stopfinder. It's how we first get them in there. And then after a couple of weeks, we send out another reminder to parents. But again, the biggest thing that we found, which is amazing, are the reduction of phone calls into dispatch. Right now, my phone hardly rings at all. Parents aren't calling anymore asking, hey, where's the bus? Because we constantly remind them, hey, when they do call, the bus didn't show up, the dispatcher will remind them, hey, by the way, why don't you download this app and you'll know where the bus is coming. And the parents are always so grateful when we tell them to do that, when we remind them. But we find it really important before winter hits that, hey, parent, we send something out district-wide, download this app because you're going to be able to tell where the bus is coming. And Jeremy did something that's amazing is the drivers communicate with you why they're off course, because parents will call and be like, wait a minute, why is my bus going the wrong direction? And it's because, oops, I forgot to change it in the system, which is very easy. But, I think it's important to have someone, a dispatcher, someone responsible for changing those bus numbers if a bus goes down and swap it out and Stopfinder, because I get that panic parent. And it's like, the bus is going the wrong way. I'm like, no, it's okay. We make some changes. So I think that's really important. And then we welcome every new family that comes in. They get an email letter. Hey, welcome to the district. Also, don't forget, Stopfinder's here. Download it. Our parents get the bus information a different way. They have to go through the student information system, but they do like knowing, hey, I can get it sooner because it's already on the app. And the last thing we have, parents, they talk, right? They love to say, hey, wait, you have an app? I don't have that. We get a phone call. Well, I want what they want. And it kind of feeds that, like, oh yeah, of course you're gonna have this, and we set them up. So we use the parents to share with each other as well.
I love that. That's great. Quick question for you on the coloring book. Is it a Stopfinder? Have you guys created a Stopfinder coloring book?
We don't have that kind of money. There it just has our district logo on it. But
Okay.
if Transfinder wanted to create a coloring book and provide it to us, right? We're all nodding. Hey, Tony, we know you're there.
Putting something in the media kit there in that media guide, Liz. So we'll look into that. I love it. One of the impetuses for this, the idea of doing this webinar actually was, I remember talking with another transportation supervisor who also said that she did an information meeting with all the parents in the auditorium. Maybe not all the parents, maybe it was per building, and did a walkthrough as well. And as we're, about a how-to, like all the things that you have all talked about already, and Liz had and Shay discussed about how to actually download the app and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, that's definitely time consuming for sure, but that's another thing to engage your community, because they say, hey, look I know Maggie, Anthony, Anna, Jeremy, they are really trying because they put themselves out there to go through that. So just another idea there about maybe getting even just more buy-in from the community to say, hey, look we're trying to hit you every way we can. Not everybody is as tech savvy, and so maybe they just need help to know how to download an app. So anyway.
Once our parents download the app, we send them another text message through the app with a link to your videos that say, this is how you set up geofencing, et cetera. So, and the videos are also on our district website. So they come to the transportation website, all the videos are there to instruct them. We want to make it easy for them because we know they're just not going to do it if it's too difficult or too many steps.
Always got to have the path of least resistance in mind. Both as a driver, probably. Anyway, Maggie, last but not least, Maggie is from Conrad Weiser High School. Very compelling story. Maggie really gripped my attention with just even how you got involved with Stopfinder to begin with. So go ahead, just tell us a little bit about your Stopfinder story, and I'm sure I'll ask you a bunch of questions in the midst of that. But tell me your story.
Okay, so when I first got my job here at Conrad Weiser, we used to mail 3,000 postcards every August to every student in every place with their bus information. School didn't start till August 24th. So by the time the post office actually delivered the mail, we were already behind. We had already made 50 to 100 or more changes, and all of the postcards were obsolete, most of them. Times changed, stop locations had to be shifted, bus numbers had to be shifted. And so fast forward to when COVID hit, and there isn't a transportation person in the world that was in transportation during COVID that didn't learn the term hybrid learning, pivot. We're gonna bring kids in A through MA for Mondays and Wednesdays and whatever. We just had an entire scenario. Originally it was supposed to be given 2 weeks notice, and then they came back they came back in person hybrid and gave me 3 days. And I had 3 days to make it hybrid and 3 days to notify parents, and no way to do it, and no good way to do it. And honestly, the way we did it angered parents greatly. I mean, beyond grateful that my superintendent said, hey, I told her to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here probably today. But that being said, fast forward, that opened the way for me to get my school board to say, hey, yeah, we need to find a better way. And this looks like the best way for us to do it. So they agreed to purchase Stopfinder. And honestly, I haven't mailed a postcard since I have Stopfinder. My parents, we ripped the Band-Aid off full cold turkey. We sent out all kinds of robocalls and media alerts on our website saying, we are now Stopfinder, we are now paperless, we are environmentally friendly for those of you who care, and we are you will not get a postcard if you don't download this app. And for the first year, it was rough. They were calling, but we also had a call number that all calls were screened and located to a phone number that told them what they needed to do to get their bus information. It was a recorded message saying, this is how you get your bus information. And then we could vet that. We could go through and see if somebody really had a drastic issue. But most of the calls we were getting, that was what they were about. Moving forward to that, nobody asks me for postcards anymore. And 3 years later, I'm not mailing anything to anybody. And I am the one that said 85% of my job is PR and public relations. And if you don't have a happy parent, you don't have anything. I mean, you can't make everybody happy all the time, but the communication that Stopfinder allows me to have with my parents to keep them up to date so that they know that we have a driver shortage. Nobody's surprised that there's a driver shortage in Pennsylvania. I don't know if it's like that the rest of the country, but there are days when I have to double up a bus. I have to do a first run and a second run bus because I just don't have enough. So I have to keep some kids back. And so I'm able to let parents know that. And prior to this, if we had a breakdown or an emergency or some other problem, that would mean me, and I'm a island of one plus a dispatcher, making all kinds of phone calls to all kinds of parents. It was nearly impossible to get to them in time. And it was very time consuming. The postcards were expensive. So this has been a really good way for us to keep everybody happy. And the parents that were the most vocal about the way we sent out the information during COVID, the initial bus information, and were the most livid about it are the parents that we chose, or I chose, to launch the Stopfinder app, and thank them for their response, because they enabled me to get the Stopfinder app. And those parents were the first people that got the invitation, and they got to be our guinea pigs, and they love it. And they loved that we heard them. They felt heard. So I think it's a long way.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Maggie. I just think that part when you shared that the other day, I thought that was so brilliant, to go to the critics and bring them in first. Or maybe it's not fair to call them critics, but the ones that maybe are the louder folks and bring them in. And then if they're loud about the negative stuff, they might be loud about the positive stuff. They might be the best ambassadors you can have out there. So I just thought, wow, super smart approach.
Yeah. Well, nobody wants to be the target of social media, right? And especially transportation people, we don't want to be up there on Facebook getting blasted, and it happens. So now it doesn't happen. They're happy with the amount of communication that they have received, and that we continue to every day that we need to. And we can do it bus specific, and we can do it student specific, we can do it school specific. very, very, very selective on how you can get the information. You don't have to blast your entire district with the same message. That
That's
doesn't.
great, because when you get blasted to messages that, so we talk about, like, there's the example, maybe you have a road that's out because of a flood, and now you can, because everything in Stopfinder is, we're a routing company, so it's all routed. It's all based in routing, that you can send the parents that are, beyond the flooded road area, that are going to be the late kids, you can let them know because they're impacted. But why tell the people who are not going to be impacted? And then if you get too many notifications over time, people might start not paying attention to them. So when you have those nice, narrowly focused alerts, you're more likely to have them, delivered and read. Well, I want to thank our panelists. Amazing stuff. I just want to take my hat off to you, what you do every day. And I just want to thank you again for sharing your insights. I'm going to bring on our CEO. If you guys want to stay on, please feel free to stay on camera. Tony works much better with an audience. So Tony, please, I'd like to welcome Transfinder's president and CEO, Antonio Civatella.
Thank you, everybody. Well, I always love to hear our panelists talk about, really true use cases. How many times you've been on these webinars and it's all about theory or what if scenarios? Man, not this one. This was actually about really good things. And I got to just give a little shout out, to a little note. I hope you guys could hear me okay, right? Anna and Jeremy, I want to see that billboard. Let's get that going. And man, how many t-shirts are you doing? Like 400 so?
450.
Get a QR code. It's easy to do, please. That's awesome. Love that. Love that. Love it. Anthony, can you get the coloring book? That's a good idea, Rick, about getting a Stopfinder coloring book. We got to get that going.
So we got Stoppy. Stoppy's the character, so.
We got to figure that out. So let's figure that out. FIO, as you guys know, I always talk about that. So I love the coloring book. Maybe Liz, you're on. I know you're on too. Maybe your team can start figuring that out, right? How to actually get more engagement. And Maggie, I got to tell you, you talked about the postcards. I have a short story until I get to like what's next here in Stopfinder. You guys know about Seinfeld, and it was a great thing. It was the episode about it was called the invitation episode. This is where George Costanza was going to get married. He really didn't want to get married, but his fiance puts him in charge of getting a wedding invitations. You guys know about this? And he was always like, didn't want to spend a lot of money. So he got the cheapest possible cards in the lot. And unfortunately, the glue was very toxic, and his fiance was licking the envelope, and it was very fatal consequences. I think you know that. So I thought, I was like, man, hopefully nobody was licking any envelopes. But let me tell you a true story about mailing postcards. This is before that episode even came out. A local client was brand new. He started like in July or August, and around mid-July. And he just did so much routing, as you guys know. We want to get everything ready so that way you could send out the invitation, like about a week. Those notifications about a week before, right? Like right now, you don't have to wait. You can just do it the last minute, which is beautiful, and it keeps changing. But I remember he called me up. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be ready before Labor Day, because here in this area, our school opens after Labor Day weekend. And so I'm like, all right, no problem. Can you post it? Calls me up on my phone on Labor Day. It's like, oh man, I'm having a hard time printing out those labels. The labels, nothing likable. It was actually those address labels. Can you help me? I'm like, I went over there and we printed like 3,000-4,000 of those things, and he put a big stack, and he had to send it to somebody to put the postage. But man, I definitely remember this. Again, these are conversations. It's real, true conversations. We're not talking about, in theory. And, talking about true, Stopfinder is an app. And I think a lot of people think, there's other products out there, and they really have websites, which is kind of cool. But people live with their phones, right? I mean, their phones is our everything. So I don't necessarily have the luxury of having a website. And by the way, let's not fool ourselves. A website on my phone is a lot different experience than a website on my big screen, right? We know that. So that's something that we got to keep saying. The apps are really the way to go. And again, text messaging, a lot of people are talking about, well, how can I get a text? Well, text messaging is very expensive, believe it or not. It's every time a text gets sent, it's expensive. Again, you don't have an app, you're going to use something else like a text messaging. Well, as an app, you get all those communication via app communication, right? All that information comes through. So that's always been that case. You know, we talked about the cards, the student schedule. Again, back then we had to print out those postcards, and really it was a fixed. You know, it was really difficult to say on Tuesday and Thursday you're being picked up at grandma's house. Very difficult to do that a long time ago. But now, as they flip through the cards, as you can see, it's got calendar-based information. And again, cool things. The two-way communication. I loved how we talked about that. Live tracking of GPS. Man, that's really, it's beyond that, right? It's beyond that kind of stuff. And again, we talked about attendance also. I know Garland, you're going to be doing attendance with the cards, and that was a big opportunity there. And of course, that's important for parents to see that, and also integration. And with Wayfinder, you now could have true ETA. So again, you know, we talked about that whole geo regions or GeoAlerts. I've heard this so many times about, oh, we get notified when a vehicle's a mile away. Well, really, they draw a shape. It's a circle, radius of 1 mile, which really is a diameter of 2 miles. And every time a bus goes in and out of that shape, you go, bus is here, bus left, bus is here, like silly stuff. So I think the ETA is going to really be the way to go, because that would make sense. And again, it's convenient to have that information there, but I think the ETA is where to go. So please, let's make sure ETA is what you're going to start lighting up if you have Wayfinder. So that's important now. Again, bus tracking is cool, but I think the ETA is the way to go. And we are seeing a lot of people are saying, can the system auto detect which vehicle is actually on this trip today? So in other words, no more substitution. So you see that it's going to be coming more and more that way. You don't have to worry about substitution. Again, if you have a vehicle, bus 12 is supposed to be out there, but bus 25 is there instead. Well, parents think bus 12 is in a bus garage still. So bus substitution is key, but we see a way how we could no need to substitute anymore, and our system will auto detect, hey, I think bus 55 is doing this now. So then all of a sudden parents will just get information. So you see that coming. Again, text messaging, I think there's gonna be a lot of different things about that. And who knows, maybe we'll start doing AI generated text messages, right? Who knows? I mean, AI is gonna change everything. It's already doing those kind of things right now, and how data is getting there. We also are now with a form technology, you could really have a full customer relationship management, a CRM. You could create so many data elements on each student, not just a user-defined field, but you could say every time you talk to them, every kind of data. There's so much you could start tracking now on parents that when you're talking to them, you have all that. And you could really start talking about when something happens. You could even create a workflow. Like, let's face it, staff turnover is going to continue happening as you bring on more new people. Well, maybe you could create a workflow on how to handle certain things right in our system. That way, hey, parent call about this situation, we'll do this, and then it's all fully documented. When Mrs. Jones calls again, like, no, we follow our protocol. That's what we did. Again, it's important. Other piece we're seeing that as kids are getting dropped off, parents have to want to be validated. Is this the right parent picking a student up, right? Because we can't release any kid, any adult. So a lot going on. Of course, Wayfinder has tons of technology that obviously has to integrate with Stopfinder, but we're seeing in the future that a parent has to maybe either use a QR code or even a card. That way, the parent has to step on a bus and use their card in order for that kid to be released to that parent. So a lot going on with that. And of course, you're right, Rick. I love QR codes for sure.
Well, thank you, Tony. A lot
going on with that stuff. But the big things we've done with Form Finder, again, we have over, and someone just asked me, how many development teams are concurrent working on products? Today we have 12. We have 12 concurrent teams working on all of our products. So think about that. So it means as Form Finder is really doing great, we're now going to be bringing all that Form Finder technology into the forms in Stopfinder. You know, there's things that you don't have as a map questions, a QR code, the rating scale, or my favorite, you know, there's just geolocation. Like I can't fill out a form if I don't live within the shape. That's available in Form Finder, but you'll see that's going to be available now in Stopfinder. Really important to say, if you're going to ask for parents to change their address, well, let's make sure they're not in California if they're supposed to be someplace else. So those are going to be things that you can't click submit unless you're in that shape. So a lot going on there. We're going to be doing fields and form rules. So a lot going on with forms. I know it. And a lot of people are saying, can we have a payment option, right, in our forms, especially you guys are doing field trips and activity trips. Wouldn't it be nice if parents could just have a way to pay for their kid to get to the trip, you know, to the aquarium? So a lot going on with that. And I know GeoAlerts are not going to go away. They're still the best way. By the way, this month we're on pace to do almost 4 million notifications of parents. 4 million. Wait, if I calculate the right where we are so far, about halfway through the month, we're going to be at 4 million notifications. So clearly the GeoAlerts are working. And so we got to make sure the product's going to continue being faster and user-friendly. And I'm super excited because this is a product that really started out as a communication tool, but now I think it's one of the best products out there. So
I can tell you,
I think
Tony, thank you so much. Anyone who's in attendance, I think we're cataloging every question and every idea. So Tony, is it okay if we just say, hey, if you have an idea, something you would like to see, a feature, this is a good time right now, throw it in there. We're not going to be able to get to it during the webinar, obviously, because we're wrapping up, but throw it in there and we will follow up with you. So I got a quick top 10 list here of why you want your community to actively be using Stopfinder. I'm going to go through this super fast. Number 10, because you can reduce or eliminate angry parents from calling the media or posting on social media. Number 9, update those families impacted by a bus delay rather than blasting everybody. Number 8, send those transportation-related forms Tony just talked about electronically. Know they're not just stuck on some bus somewhere in some kid's backpack. Number 7, parents know when their child's bus is going to arrive or when it's going to be dropped off. Number 6, parents can share their student's schedule with caregivers. Shay shared a little bit about that, and relatives, so giving more control to parents. Number 5, yes, it's a repeat. Intentionally reduce or eliminate angry parents from calling media or posting on social media. Number 4, parents can communicate directly with your team with questions, concerns, rather than going on social media. So that's going to reduce some of your headaches, hopefully. Number 3, parents will never miss an important transportation notification. Again, reducing their concerns, parents' concerns. Number 2, parents can easily access their child's transportation schedule from any mobile device. No more postcards, though, please. Reducing those calls to your office. And number 1, drum roll, please. An informed parent is a happy parent. Last slide. I just want to say thank you to our panelists. I know you are super busy. You have an incredibly important job. We thank you. I want to thank all of our attendees, super active. We will be following up with you. I want to make sure you go to community.transfinder.com. You will be blown away by all the resources there. And for now, I just want to, on behalf of the Transfinder team, thank everybody for coming and have a great rest of your day. Have a great day, everybody.
Everybody, bye.